pierced with Viking runes. So, what is the relationship between Vikings, Turks, Etruscan and Hungarians? Do they have the same origin? Well, the truth is, they do have. The language of the Vikings...
But with the rise of the Ottomans, these traditions slowly faded away.
Oh, it's the Ottomans that stopped that.
The Ottoman Empire further adopted the Arabic script, while having been heavily influenced by Persian arts and culture.
Oh, bruh. The irony. The Ottoman Empire, a Turkic empire, is the reason why this script died. Wow.
Not only the Turkic writing system, but also old Turkic traditions were forgotten.
What?
But slowly.
The Ottoman did that. The Ottomans. I'm actually stunned. The Ottomans? Really? That's why the Turkic script died because of the Ottoman Empire. What?
Can you read this? Probably not. But
Nope.
don't worry. By the end of this video,
Suggestion
you
to
will be
me,
able
for
to
me,
read
by me.
not only this word, but the entire Orkhon script. Speaking of, what is the Orkhon script? Also known as the Old Turkic script.
By the way, I will be reacting to... This is like part 1. He gave me... Apparently, this is like multiple parts in one video. Just letting you know that right now.
Is a tale of mystery, adventure, and scholarly dedication. In 1889, a Russian expedition led by the renowned archaeologist Nikolai Yadrintsev, driven by a desire to uncover the secrets of ancient civilizations, made a groundbreaking discovery in the Orkhon Valley, a remote region of Mongolia. As they scoured the vast, desolate landscape, they stumbled upon massive stone pillars covered in strange, ancient inscriptions. These inscriptions, carved meticulously into the stone, were unlike anything they had seen before. What they discovered were the 2 obelisks which were erected in the Orkhon Valley between 732 and 735 in honor of a prince and his brother, the Göktürk Emperor. News of this remarkable find spread quickly through the academic world, igniting a fervor of interest and curiosity among scholars joining the quest to unlock the secrets of the mysterious script was the talented Danish philologist Wilhelm Thomsen, who in 1893 finally made a breakthrough. Okay, we're done with history. Let's take a look at the alphabet itself. Just like the Arabic glyphs, the Orkhon script reads from right to left, and here are the vowels that...
Bro, what? What? Hell nah. Bro! It's already one thing to freaking learn a freaking language. I learned a new freaking alphabet system, right? Which I am, like I said this before, I am learning Russian. Oh my, I didn't even think about that. Other languages, you have to read from freaking right to left, bro. No.
Need to learn first. We have here the, Great. Now that we covered the vowels, here are all the consonants. Let's learn some of them. This one is the T. While
Wait,
here we
which
have
one?
the R.
Oh.
And this one is a K. For the rest of them, I hope to be able to cover this in a future video with a deeper dive into the Orkhon alphabet. Before concluding this video, let's take a look at the word we saw initially and try to read it now. From right to left, we can now
I'm reading this from left to right.
read the word Turk in the old Göktürk alphabet. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing.
That's so freaking weird. Okay, we have another one here.
You can explore the complete Orkhon alphabet in the description below and share your name in Orkhon script by leaving a comment.
I mean, that is cool though. I'm not gonna lie. That's cool. Alright, this is part 2. Khan's Den.
The Turkic script is an ancient writing system that has been around for millennia. It was used by the ancient Turkic tribes who once ruled the vast expanse of Central Asia. Even though the Turkic script is no longer in use, it holds a great deal of mystery and intrigue. In this video, we'll be uncovering the mysteries of the Turkic script and exploring its history. The Turkic script is an ancient writing system that was used by the Turkic tribes in Central Asia. It is an alphabetic script with a total of 32 consonant letters and 6 vowel letters. It is related to the Old Uyghur script, which was used from the 8th to the 13th centuries in the eastern part of the Turkic world. But it's also closely related to the Old Hungarian script, which was used in the western part of the Turkic realm from the 10th to the 14th centuries.
Oh, wow.
The actual, original Turkic script was used to write the Old Turkic language, which is an Altaic or Trans-Eurasian language spoken by the Turkic tribes in Central Asia. It was written in an abjad style, meaning that it only uses consonant letters and no vowel letters. This makes it difficult to decipher the meaning of the words written, as there are no vowels to help in the interpretation of the text.
How the hell do you pronounce words like that? Like what the? Imagine like, I don't know, English with just only vowels. Like, oh heck no, I can't imagine a language about vowels.
The Turkic script can be traced back to the 6th century, when it was used by the Göktürk Empire in Central Asia. Also known as the Turkic Khaganate, this state was a powerful empire that ruled from the border to Korea in the east, to Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula in the west.
Korea, all the way to Korea. Wow, that's
During this time, the Ashana family, the dynasty of the Göktürk Empire, introduced the Old Turkic script on a state level, erecting several large stones with text carved onto them. These stele became known as the Orkhon inscriptions. The Old Turkic corpus consists of about 200 inscriptions, plus a number of manuscripts. The inscriptions, dating from the 7th to 10th century, were discovered in present-day Mongolia, the area of the Second Turkic and the Uyghur Khaganate that succeeded it, in the upper Yenisei Basin of central South Siberia, and in smaller numbers, in the Altai Mountains and Xinjiang.
Wait, so then why did the Turks stop using the alphabet? Why do Turkic countries not use it anymore?
The texts are mostly epitaphs, official or private, but there are also graffiti and a handful of short inscriptions found on archaeological artifacts, including a number of bronze mirrors. The most famous of the inscriptions are the 2 monuments which were erected in the Orkhon Valley between 732 and 735 CE, in honor of the Göktürk prince Kultekin and his brother the emperor-built Kagan. The Tanyukuk inscription, a monument situated somewhat farther east, is slightly earlier, dating to 722 CE. These inscriptions relate in epic language the legendary origins of the Turks, the golden age of their history, their subjugation by the Chinese, and their liberation by Ilturish.
Who's
In the 9th
Ilturish?
century, the Urk-Bidig, Book of Divination, was also written in Old Turkic. What you can see here are Chinese letters having been written all over the pages of the book. This all took place after the Chinese conquest of Central Asia and the subsequent migration of many Turkic peoples into the West.
So what language family are Turkic languages in? This is actually very, very very intriguing. There's a lot of information here I never knew before. But what really baffles me is how no Turkic country is trying to use this anymore. Is it just for the sake of simplicity? Recently, I heard a couple years back that Kazakhstan switched from Cyrillic alphabet to freaking Latin alphabet, right? None of these Turkic countries want to switch back to their old scripts, or just no, they just don't want to do that anymore? Wow, I never knew. I kind of stupid now because I never thought to myself like, yo, these Turks had their own freaking writing system. I always just thought I don't know why I thought that. The more I think about it now. But you know what, I gotta give it to you, Turks. At least you actually crafted a freaking alphabet, unlike in East Asia where they don't have alphabets and you literally just have to freaking memorize characters. So that's a plus on you for
Between
Central
1100 and
Asians.
1400, most of Anatolia was under rule of the so-called Turkish beyliks. It seems that the people of these small kingdoms also used the Old Turkic script, albeit in a modified form.
Yeah, that makes
Descended
sense.
From the Oghuz Yabgu state of Central Asia, an offshoot of the Göktürk Empire, it is also fact that the Turkish beyliks continued Old Turkic traditions, rites and customs. But with the rise of the Ottomans, these traditions slowly faded away.
Oh, it's the Ottomans
The
that stopped
Ottoman
that.
Empire further adopted the Arabic script, while having been heavily influenced by Persian arts and culture.
Oh, bruh. The irony. The Ottoman Empire, a Turkic empire, is the reason why this script died.
Not
Wow.
only the Turkic writing system, but also Old Turkic traditions were forgotten.
What?
But slowly,
The Ottoman did that. The Ottomans. I'm actually stunned. The Ottomans? Really? That's why the Turkic script died, because of the Ottoman Empire. What?
the Old Turkic elements are having a comeback. Not only in Turkey, but across the world. As seen on this channel, videos about the Göktürks and their religion, Tengrism, have garnered millions of viewers from across the globe. Incidentally, many Turks have begun wearing clothing or choosing profile images on social media that feature Old Turkic words. One of the most prominent words is, of course, Turk. In conclusion, the Turkic script is an ancient writing system with a rich history and a great deal of mystery and intrigue.
Bring it back. Bring
The
it
script
back.
was used by the ancient Turkic tribes in Central Asia.
Bring it
and while
back.
not being in use in any of the many Turkic countries, people are becoming more and more interested in its history, structure, and use.
How could you abandon your freaking writing system? Shame on all the Turks.
There is of course much more to be said about the script, including its structure and how to read and write in Old Turkic. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget.
Okay, we have another one. This one is Vikings in Mongolia.
Viking ancestry have in common with the Turkey countries. The writing system? Yes, but not really. At first glance, we can notice some similarities between the Viking runes in the ancient Turkic alphabet called Okon, both with very
Oh yeah, that is something that I noticed when I first looked at this, but I didn't say nothing. Is that the Turkic alphabet it looked eerily similar to runic, and I was like, is that a coincidence? But I didn't really bother to comment on it.
strokes and written from right to left. Did the Scandinavians have contact with the Göktürk Khaganate, an empire with its capital in current Mongolia, because the origin of the Turks is precisely Mongolia. It is well known that the Vikings traveled widely around Europe, visiting or rather
Wait, so wouldn't that mean that Turks are Mongols? So how are Turks and Mongols different? Because I asked this question before. Are Turks and Mongols the same? And people have told me no. Granted, I've had comments that have told me that no, Mongols are actually Turks, but so and so happen where they differentiate. But Mongols are Turks as well. But most people have told me no.
looting and invading places like England, Ireland, Russia, Ukraine, France, Spain, and even traveling to Greenland, Canada, the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, and even the Caspian Sea. So it's possible that they had contact with the Turkic peoples. And actually there was contact between the Vikings and the Turkic peoples, but the truth is that the writing systems are not similar because of that contact. If you know how to read runes, you will realize that there are only a few similar letters, and in fact the similarities is due to the very right angles of both alphabets. And actually the ancient Hungarian writing and the ancient Italic alphabet, which include the Etruscan alphabet, can be confused with Viking runes. So, what is the relationship between Vikings, Turks, Etruscan and Hungarians? Do they have the same origin? Well, the truth is, they do have. The language of the Vikings...
What? Wait, Etruscans? Etruscans are like the people that Rome was inspired from the Etruscans. Like those Etruscans have the same origin with Vikings. The ones that Rome took so many traditions and basically just copied in a way. Those Etruscans. What? Wait, Etruscans and who else? Hungarians. Hungarians are like, yeah, but I thought Hungarians low-key always... Didn't Hungarians come from the steppe? That would make sense. But Etruscans... I'm very surprised by Etruscans. Wait, unless he's talking about a different type of Etruscans. I don't know. One Etruscans, and that's the one in the Italian peninsula.
Language, part of the Indo European family. The Turkic peoples speak languages of the Turkic family. Hungarian is an Uralic language, and Etruscan is part of the hypothetical Teosanian family. But the writing
hypothetical what?
Do have the same origin. There are various types of runes. The Elder Futhark used in Proto-Germanic, Proto-Norse, Gothic and Old High German was used from the 2nd to the 8th century, while what we call Vikings existed from the 8th to the 11th century. Therefore, what we call Vikings actually used the younger Futhark used for Old Norse. Furthermore, there was also the Futhark used for Old English and Old Frisian. And well, where did the runes come from? There are several theories about their origin, but it is known that they definitely had to derive from some Mediterranean writing system. One of the most valid theories is that the runes derive from the Etruscan alphabet, a type of alphabet that is member of the ancient Italic alphabet, which makes a lot of sense. This is believed thanks to the inscriptions of Negau and Maria Salabek, inscriptions of some Germanic language with the Etruscan alphabet. And well, it is quite noticeable that the Etruscan resembles the runes. The Latin alphabet is actually also an evolution of the Italic alphabet, so the runes and the Latin alphabet would be sister inscriptions. And well, in turn, the ancient Italic alphabets...
But yeah, Indo-Europeans, yeah, that makes sense.
...derived from Greek, and this one from Phoenician, which evolved from Egyptian hieroglyphs. So the runes would come from Egypt. And well, where did the Turkic writing come from? The Old Turkic script, also known as Göktürk or Orkhon script, was the script for the Old Turkic language, a language native to the area of what is now called Mongolia. The Turkic script is also known as the Orkhon script after the Orkhon Valley, Mongolia, where some scripts were found. And as I said before, the Vikings did sail in places like the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, places also explored by the Göktürks. But the Göktürk alphabet was not actually invented in Mongolia. One theory says that the Orkhon comes from the Tamgas. Tamgas were a type of seal used by clans or tribes across Eurasia. And the truth is that it does give the impression of coming from there. There are people who even think that the Tamgas are in turn originated from attempts to copy some Chinese characters in the time of the Xiongnu. However, it is currently known, or at least is the most valid theory, that the Orkhon does not come from the Tamgas, but comes from Aramaic. That is Jesus Christ's native language. It seems that Aramaic
I knew that.
Some writing
I actually knew that.
systems such as Pahlavi to write languages of Iran, Sogdian to write the Sogdian language, an Indo-European language spoken in what is currently known as Uzbekistan, and Kharosti to write Indo-European languages such as Pali and Sanskrit spoken in South Asia. And well, Aramaic in turn comes from Phoenician, which comes from the Egyptian hieroglyphs, making that the runes and the Orkhon do have the same origin. The Göktürk alphabet most likely evolved from the Sogdian, but there are people who actually investigated the theory that the ancient Turkic alphabet came from the runes of Europe. The first person to decipher the Okon script was a Danish linguist who originally called the writing as the Turkic runes. But then, if the Göktuğ writing does not come from the runes, despite having the same Egyptian Phoenician origin, why do they look similar? Rune from
I don't know, just because people back then, you know, it was kind of hard to write, you know? Like, you literally take a freaking stick and you just, you know, you just have to use a freaking stick or something stiff, right? That's why I thought all those words looked similar.
Proto-Germanic runo means letter, secret or mystery, and were more than a simple alphabet. Each rune had a hidden meaning, and for example, the Tiwaz rune was named after the god Tyr and has meanings such as victory, bravery, and honor. So the sharp angles associated with hardness. Also, the truth is that basically all runes can be related to hardness or strength, just like for the Göktuğ culture. And in reality, the runes in Turkic writing have this shape because they were normally written on hard surfaces such as stone, metal, wood or bone, unlike cuneiform written on wet clay or South Indian scripts written on soft surfaces, which gave it a more circular appearance. I know that some cultures also wrote on stone with circular angles, like the Egyptians or Mayans, but well, the Norse, Etruscan, Hungarians and Turks simply managed to write with right angles. What is curious is that there are indeed some similarities between the Turkic alphabet and the runes. This symbol in Turkic represents the sound A or A, and in Elder Futhark it's also A. This one in Turkic is like an E or like a W, and in Futhark it's also like an E. Although the truth is that this seems to be simply a coincidence because there are symbols that look similar but with quite different sounds. This in Turkic is Ba, while in Futhark is O. However, even symbols can change even in related systems. In Turkic, this one makes the Cha sound in its descendant.
Whoa! Whoa! You know what this reminds me of, actually? If you pay attention to the Cyrillic alphabet, right? The letter that pronounces j, like in the Russian alphabet, j. But I think Cyrillic is also like the same, like is universal in the Cyrillic alphabet, j. It looks like this word. Not word, but letter. It looks like this letter, j, in the Cyrillic alphabet. Except like the top. You have the top, but there's no bottom. If you bring the bottom, damn, I don't know what. I don't have the Cyrillic keyboard, so I can't Google it. Damn it. But this word, no, I mean letter. This letter, it looks like freaking Cyrillic, bro. And it pronounces the same sound as the one in Cyrillic. I don't think that's a coincidence.
And then the Hungarian, the sound of ja.
Whoa! Yeah, ja. It literally even pronounces the same way. Hold on a second. This word, ja. It looks. I said there's no bottom. There's the top. This has to be, I mean, letter. Keep saying word, but you know what I mean. Letter. I pronounce this the same exact, essentially the same freaking. Yeah, no, that's not a coincidence. There has to be some type of relationship between Cyrillic and the old Turkish script or these ancient scripts that cannot be a coincidence.
Etruscan, Ka. His descendant, the elder Futhark, Za, and in younger Futhark it is Ma. And by the way, if you were wondering, the Hungarians had contact with the Göktuğ around the 6th century, long before they had completed their immigration into Central Europe. At that time, they adopted the Turkic alphabet for the Hungarian language. So well, it seems that the resemblance between Turks and Nordics is a mere coincidence that is quite interesting. Although the truth is that in addition to the writing system, I still see a lot of similarities between the Turks and the Nordics. Now we knew.
I feel like that's not really a coincidence. I think it's just because humans came from the same origin, and I feel, you know, if you all spoke the same language at one point, we would all need to write the same letter to out as well. Like, I feel like everything does have an explanation, but it's all just like lost to time, I think.
Pagan music, sometimes I don't know if I'm seeing something Turkic or Viking. It's funny how people confuse Turks with Arabs or Persians, and I see a lot of resemblance to the Nordics. And even with throat singing. Throat singing is a type of singing typical of Mongolian and Turkey peoples. However, it turns out that the Scandinavian cultures also use a very similar type of throat singing. I know that in addition to Turks and Mongolians, Tibetans also use this type of singing, but I don't know if the Scandinavian throat singing has reached Scandinavia through maybe Uralic peoples such as the Sami or Finns. Or maybe it's just
That's
another
That's something.
Anyway, if you want to listen to Turkic and know
That's really interesting. I've always wondered, like, languages outside of Indo-European, like how they have had influence on like Indo-European, because it would like delve into that world of what the heck did all humans speak before we all like diverge into one freaking language. I mean, not one, but many languages.
Music with throat singing. I leave you here some bands with throat singing that you can listen, and you can tell me if you think that the Nordics and the Turks have some similarities. So if you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel.
Well, that was very enlightening. Learn about a freaking old script I never heard about. Honestly though, there's so many scripts that are lost to history. Honestly, I didn't really have much to say because I was just so busy paying attention, just watching the video, because I was in such shock and awe. I was like, what the heck? That's actually really cool though. I do believe that the Turks should bring back their old writing system. Using other writing systems from other countries. Come on, man. If you have your own thing, why are you not using it? You know what I mean, man? But anyways, man, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. If you like my reactions on what I have to say, you know, check out my other Turkic reactions, man. I got plenty on my channel already. You know, if you have any suggestions like this and you're an active viewer, you know, become a channel member, recommend it to you, 99 cents a month. I'll drop that video in the comments below for you to hear the benefits of being a channel member, but the main benefits being that your suggestions are done much more quicker. Guys, you know, the guy who recommended me this, he was like, oh, well, you're doing all these other Turkic reactions. I'm like, yeah, because these are from channel members or people who donate me to do this, right? Because, you know, time is precious, right? Okay, even though I said it myself, oh, I'm a nobody, which I am a nobody, you know, time is still precious, and what you use your time on is very important, especially when you're a young 20-year-old like me who should be, you know, who needs to like spend time on other stuff. I'm not talking about goofing up, I'm talking about getting his life together, like seriously, man, right? Anyways, man, thank you for watching and goodbye.